And welcome to the latest episode of Mostly Satisfactory, which is my Let's Build series set in the game Satisfactory. And in the last episode, we started setting up something new in that we are going to go multi-level here for this next phase of our base design. And I started to set that up, but we had a second problem. The reason we're going up is because we're kind of running out of room horizontally. And so once we figured all that out, we started building. And as you can see right there, my bridge between islands, it's only 8 foundations long. It's supposed to be 9. So I discovered that last episode as I was closing out. I was looking at the same view and I realized I screwed up. So I got to fix that. And thank you for the tips and comments that are coming in on this series. They've been very useful. One of them was that if you use Zoop, the maximum distance for Zoop is 10. And since my measurements are always out to 9, that's perfect. You know, just max out your Zoop and then walk it back 1. So we'll be putting that to good use this episode. But the point of all this is that we've been kind of doing this in stages. We did the first stage, which was limestone and concrete, and that worked out well. But see, that was kind of like the proving ground, because that's a really simple product chain, right? Then we went to copper, which was a little more complicated, and we got a little more traction in figuring out how things work. But you see, what makes this particular phase so daunting, this is iron. And almost everything uses iron. And on top of that, while we're at it, we might as well work in steel, which I've gone to the trouble of unlocking steel, but I haven't gone to the trouble of learning what that exactly entails. I've done a little bit of study since then, but so I have some idea. And the bottom line is that based off of what I just said, I got to make 9 islands. So we've set up these 4 that will be basically the foundation of this this expansion. But there will be a second level, and then at least for one of the islands there will be a third level. And if we get that far in this episode, I'll explain all that out. But because I sat down with Excel, you know, for playing computer games, I play with Excel a lot as a part of that. But you know, just trying to figure out where pieces go and such. But yep, figured it out. So now I got to push these all out one. And this is kind of that secret mushroom cave I discovered. My problem is if I push this out one, it's going to pretty much block the entrance to this cave. And this is a cave I think I will want to check out from time to time. So that didn't stick. Hold on. So, yep. So this island's 9 long, and the Zoop extended to 10. So I backed it up 1, and it works. So that confirms that, which is nice. Thank you for the tip. Please keep those tips, suggestions, recommendations, and frustrations coming. I greatly appreciate it. I learned a lot from you guys, and I also appreciate the fact that you guys are not hitting with spoilers, right? I truly appreciate that. So this is going to be a lot of work. This is it's not glamorous, but it is part of the process, right? Part of the game. It's not just figuring out how the pieces work together. It's not just about how to be efficient with what I have. It's also about Oh boy. Oh boy. Hold on. Oof. That hurt. Whoa. Ole. Hey, no. You got your shot. Okay, you got your shot twice, but I won. That's what counts. I forgot about this guy. I forgot about these too. Let's go ahead and take the free ore. And then let's map these nodes. That way we know they there. Oh yes, it's been a bit of a break. Hopefully you had, for those of you who in the United States, it was Thanksgiving weekend, and hopefully if you observe Thanksgiving, even if you're not in the United States, if you observed it this weekend, hopefully you had a great holiday. And of course, in this country, that kicks off the holiday season. So let's see. Okay. I just wanted to see if the colors still work, because if you remember when we were trying to put map markers down before, we had a problem with the colors persisting. Specifically, I just had an epiphany. So I've always been looking at this little marker with me, and it has a little nub on it. And I figured that was pointing where I was, right? So it's kind of like the markers to the side of where I was. But I now realize that's not it. My position is smack dab in the middle of the marker, and that little nub is actually my facing, which way I'm facing. Well, boy howdy, that is you hit tab, it breaks you out of the dialogue. So yeah, these are all normal. So let me move down here, and then I can modify these to do what I was going to do, and just can't press tab like you can in every other computer application known to man or made in the last 30 years. Anyway, a couple things I was saying. One, if you did Thanksgiving, I hope you had fun. I hope it was a good time. We did a little Thanksgiving at home, just me and the immediate family, and then we skedaddled for our annual post Thanksgiving retreat at a little cabin we rent out next to the water up on the Olympic Peninsula. So that was nice. But we're back now, and then and of course that kicks off the official Christmas shopping season, right? And Black Friday was Friday. We were on the road, not in the stores. And anyhow, we're back. So everyone goes back to school and work tomorrow except me. So anyway, what was I talking about before that? I was talking about something. Too much to keep track of it and keep my guy moving. So I'll just pull it back one. Yep. That is a handy little trick with Zoop. It was a super tip. Man, can't speak today. Just ate dinner, so I'm there's not all the blood's rushing from my head to my stomach, and there's plenty of room for it there apparently. So a lot it leaves even less in my head. So anyway, Nice. So, talking about building upwards, gotta make sure these are lined up. Now that I have enough of these established, that's another way I can use to kind of confirm that I'm building in the right place, right? So I should probably put a stairwell, or not necessarily. Yeah, well, I guess it's a stairwell. It's not really a well though. It's hanging on the outside of the building. But yeah. Anyway, I was I have no idea what I was saying before, but you know what I am curious about is when Fixmas kicks off, because I thought for sure that we would have already had Fixmas up and running at this point. Like I said, you know, it's you know, we've had Black Friday and all that jazz, so you know, let the silliness commence. And I would have thought that that's when they kicked off. Now, last year, so let's just point that out. We've been doing this for over a year. And if you say, well, wow, you've been doing this for a year and you haven't got very far, that is a valid observation. But don't forget, too, that I'm playing 1 hour every 2 to 3 weeks. So that does slow you down a bit. But when I started playing last time, it was like just before Fixmas started, and then, you know, Fixmas started, and that kind of caught me off guard, because I knew even less about the game than I know now, which might surprise some people, but that such a thing is possible. But yeah, so I even got sidetracked. You know, I was excited about Fixmas, and then I realized that it was just it kind of required that I know a bunch more about the game than I actually did. So then I was kind of discouraged. But then, you know, next few episodes I learned a bunch, and then I got all excited, and then it ended. So you know, my Fixmas is kind of in limbo at the moment. So. And I think all you need all the technologies you need are up to steel. I think. So if that is indeed the case, then there's no reason we couldn't and shouldn't finish all the Fixmas stuff this season. Not this episode though. This episode I have my hands full building up and away. So now here's the first question is how high up should I build, right? So this is going to be a fixed height because we're working from an established floor. So I'm thinking 4 foundations up should work. So, and then we'll do our arches at 3, which leaves us kind of 2 of open space and the past materials. I think, and think is in quotes here, that should be enough. But I just found a hole in that plan. If I build the foundation here, I block the stairs. And in fact, building the foundations on the corners are going to block my whole access plans. So what I need to do is figure out how to establish these corners like I normally do, but still allow me to run through them. And I see I have a half foundation. What I want is a quarter foundation. That would be awesome. And of course, it doesn't look like they have one. Oh, but this works. Big concrete pillar, if I remember, is a quarter of a foundation in size. And then to get that pass-through effect, I think I just slap walls on the side. Right? I don't have any other choices as far as walls go, though. Except for windows, and I don't need windows here. Let's set the hologram. Oh, wrong way. And then slide it over like such. Yep, that's what I want. And then over here, we just slide it over because I don't want to block the stairwell. And I think that's it. So and then I think I can. Oh yeah, I gotta figure out this part here. So 2 more big pillars. And there you go. That now I can just build my foundations up like I have in the past, and I should be good. The problem is, how do I do that with all this stuff in the way? It won't let me build on top, but it is going to let me. It is going to let me clip down below. So maybe I'll just do it like I normally do, and then knock out the bottom foundation, right? So 2, 3, and then kill off the bottom one. And there we go. I think that'll work. So let's kill this one. Let's kill this one. Hold on. This one doesn't really go anywhere because we kind of hit a dead end here. So I can put this one back, I think. Would have been nice to figure that out before I killed it, though. And then just recreate what we did over there. Yeah. So, I will give credit where credit's due, and my family has been much better about supporting me and in making content, right? So they used to think nothing about thumping around upstairs or walking in on me when I'm doing recordings and stuff, and oh, it was bad. Several times I had to just start over from scratch. They've been a lot better about it, but even knowing they've been better about it, they still don't always notice, like, you know, I have a sign, I have a light. I think what I'm going to get is try to find some type of battery powered, like on air light or a red light or just something like that that would be more obvious set before they open the door, because as I've noted, my studio, and I put that in quotes, and studio is a very loose interpretation of the word. It's also the basement, the laundry room, and the most direct route to the trash cans in the garage. So it's also kind of a high traffic zone, which is why I gotta put up something that is more obvious and noticeable so that people just, of course, you know, what usually happens is they'll just stack stuff by the door and then walk away, and then I open the door, and if it doesn't collapse on me, which has happened a couple times, I'm still stuck with it, and then I guess it's my problem, which is not cool. But hey, Gus, you're Gus, right? Yep, it's Gus. Oh, thanks, Gus. I'm missing Buddy. If you see your brother, tell him I'm looking for him. Good kid. Good kid. Okay. Get some more supplies. That is one thing, you know, these islands do take up a mess of supplies. Well, foundations take up a mess of supplies. But that's okay. I've run out of capacity for plates. No place for plates. No plates for plates. Yeah. Anyway. And yeah, you remember when I first got these Blade Runners, I was like, I don't think they're working. Yeah, clearly they're working. I mean, we've established already that they are working. we established that they're working because I got myself in trouble a few times, and it's like I couldn't have done that before, but I can do it now. So that kind of proves that the Blade Runners are working. In fact, it establishes the Blade Runners. They're not overpowered, but they do give you just enough oomph to get yourself in trouble. So I appreciate that. So I guess I'm gonna need to go up. Can't get it to go stairs to go up unless I have something for him to go up to. Yeah. Trust me, I'm not going to just sit and stare for the rest of the episode. Oh, did I use that one before? I may have used that one before. That's okay. I know that there's only 3 of you who are watching more than one episode in a row. So you guys can groan and say, yeah, we heard this before. To everyone else, it's a new joke. So, not a great joke. But it is a new one. So... Well, I don't know how new it is. I mean, part of the thing about dad humor is, it's all about the classics. There was a line in, gosh, what was it? Fifth Element, where he said, "Old tricks are the best tricks." And, I kind of feel the same way about jokes. Old jokes are some of the best jokes. There's a reason they're old jokes, right? Or that everybody's heard them. Okay, so now we are topside. We can go back to foundations. Very nice. We're going to have to do some landscaping at some point. I don't really want to get too much into that right now. Did I overshoot? Yes, I did. Shoot. Oh, hold on. Foundation 2 meters. I want foundation 4 meters. A creature's in the way. Hey! Hey! Excuse me. Thank you. Thank you. Beg your pardon. So the last time I unexpectedly had a bunch of 2-meter foundations, it's because I had tried to run 4-meter foundations over a POI that was hidden. And so the game just modified my selection accordingly. I don't think that's the case here. Here, I think I just screwed up. I just had the wrong one picked. Classic Occam's razor, right? All other things being equal, the simplest explanation is the most likely. Me screwing up, that's simplest and most likely. So, and in truth, it's why if you've ever had to call up tech support for something, that's why they treat you like an idiot, because the most likely explanation for your problem is that you did something wrong. And even, and this is the problem I had. It's like, well, hold it, software test engineer, software development engineer and test. I got decades in the field. When I call you up because something's not working, it's like I've already gone past turning it on and off, right? So we're talking about like the BIOS was cuckoo, or I'm missing a Windows update, or unexpected driver interaction. We're talking something like that. But they got to go through their flowchart. They don't know who's on the other end of the line. They're just going to assume you're a moron, and I guess more often than not, I guess maybe they're right. And when I say moron, I don't mean somebody who's a complete idiot, except maybe they are when it comes to technology or computers. I mean, my mom is a very bright person, but when it comes to technology, her brain switches off, right? She just doesn't, and she doesn't want to know. My wife's the same way. My wife has a PhD in medicine, and when it comes to her iPhone, it's like trying to teach a chimpanzee how to work the phone. It just her brain completely shuts off. What she wants is either for it to just auto-magically work, or me to fix it so it auto-magically works. And in truth, 99.9% of smartphone or technology users, that's what they want, right? They don't, I come back. I remember smartphones. I wasn't one of the first smartphone users because I couldn't see the point. But what I'm talking about is back in the days of like Windows CE, right? And you had people who had Windows phones that were running on Windows CE, and these guys carried their phones around with them. And I was a full-time employee at Microsoft at the time, so boy did I run into these guys. But for them it was a badge of honor, because these were highly technical guys and they knew how to work their stupid phone. And there you go. But see, if you're marketing a phone for just nerds, that nerds love it because it puts them in some type of elite category. It's like, look at what I got. But you're not gonna make a lot of money on that, because while there are a surprisingly large number of nerds, there aren't billions upon billions of nerds. And now they sell billions upon billions of cell phones. I mean, I don't know what the numbers are. I bet, and I'll maybe after I publish this, I will look it up and post the results in the show notes. But I bet that there is close to or more than the number of people alive right now in terms of cell phones. In other words, I bet you if we check to see the number of cell phones, the vast majority of those are smartphones, that are active today, I bet you there's as many phones or even more phones than there are people alive today. Because I know some people have like a work phone and a personal phone, right? And I know drug dealers and stuff, spies, they use burner phones. So they got a bunch of, like 5 phones going at a time type of thing. So I bet you, I would not be surprised if there are more active in-use phones than people alive right now. That's my prediction. I mean, I might be off. I'm not gonna bet anybody a big money on it, but I wouldn't be surprised. That's just where we're at. I mean, there's not really much I can do in that corner, is there? When I was a kid, I remember when I first became aware of area codes, right? And I grew up a little ways east of Los Angeles, but just over the border. I lived just within San Bernardino County, right? So my junior high school was in Los Angeles County, but half a mile away or a mile away My house, it was San Bernardino County. So we're right there at the border. And that border was also the edge of the 714 area code. So 213 was Los Angeles area. 714 was the rest of Southern California. And it's true. If you look at like a zip code map from the 70s up to maybe the early to mid 80s, 714 was all of Southern California except LA, right? And what that means then is that, the area code basically means that's one set of phone numbers. Now, nowadays, that's all broken up, and I think 714 is just like Riverside and the area around it now. I remember San Diego was 714, but then it was 619, and now it's broken up into multiples. So 619 is part of it, and 858 is one. I think that happened in the mid 80s. But every time they have too many phone numbers in a given area, because it's a number, right? I mean, there's only so many combinations. When you're out of those combinations, they got to do a new area code, and that essentially doubles the number of numbers available. I use the word number a lot in that explanation, but anyway, so nowadays Southern California is full of area codes. And this is what I'm getting at. We have way more phones than we have more people than we used to, but I think we have, I don't think the ratio is the same as it was. I mean, you think about this, right? I don't know. First of all, if you're not old enough, you're not going to know what I'm talking about. But if you are old enough, think about this. When we were kids, there was a phone for the whole family in the house. One phone, if you had, the Brady Bunch, one phone, Now, everybody has a phone, and some people have more than one phone. Think about that, right? It's been explosive. And then, of course, there's more than that. Because, I know when we bought our new car to replace our old car, it has a phone built into it. Not like it has a phone built into it. It had a cell phone hotspot built in it. So, it was supplied by AT&T. So it has its own phone number. I have no idea what it is, but essentially it's a phone. And then, whenever you tried to use a hotspot, it would use the AT&T cell network as a phone and let you connect to the network. Now, ironically, we let it run during the free trial period, but we let it expire because I wasn't going to pay for that. What I did was turn around the other way, and now all the functionality in my car that would use that phone, I actually wired to my smartphone. So, I got my smartphone with me all the time, and 99.9% of the time we're in civilization, or at least enough of a civilization that my phone works. So why pay for another phone number when I can just have the car run off of my phone? So that's what we do. Yeah, these are tight. Okay, good. I did map them. Wasn't sure if I had mapped them before, but don't really know if they're going to be usable here. At least that one. Okay. So this is looking pretty good. I wish I could texture those walls so that they blend in better with the foundations. These guys have done a fantastic job for adding all this cool functionality. And in truth, they've given me a lot of great stuff in terms of decoration and cosmetics. It's just, though, I kind of feel like they took it 75% of the way. And probably for the core audience, that's good enough. I'm not the core audience because I'm probably more OCD than most. And for an OCD person, I'm pretty creative because OCD people are more logic-sided brains than creative-sided. So I'm both. I'm logic-sided and creative-sided and compulsive all the way. Trying to get this to fit from this kind of goofy angle is... Did that work? These work. These look right. See? Looking sharp. But over here... Yeah. And over here... Don't need to pass. Set up pass-throughs down here. No, I'm out of concrete. Okay. Okay. What's more? So, I still have some... I still have a fair number of sheets, but plates, but we can grab those too. Okay. Everything's looking good. It's just... That's not what I meant to do. This is what I meant to do. Yeah, I just want to make sure. I could have swore at one point I saw there was a wall that had the same textures as the foundations. Well, I mean, I don't have it. There might be one that I haven't bought yet in the store. Ooh, silica. Every time I see the word silica in this game, and I see it in Icarus too. Every time I see the word silica, I don't know why, but my mind automatically shifts to Caprica, which actually has nothing to do with it. Caprica was the name of a planet in Battlestar Galactica, and in the case of the new Battlestar Galactica, it was a prequel series that came out. An ill-fated prequel series that talks about the origin of the Cylons. Now, I'm going to go on a limb here. People might boo and hiss about this. The show wasn't that bad. I actually kind of liked it, but here's the problem. The show was kind of irrelevant because it was a prequel. I mean, we just wrapped up Battlestar Galactica, and nobody was really thrilled with that ending anyway. But even that said, I mean, we already... the Caprica, and the Caprica is the prequel like a generation before, because Adama's in it, but he's a little kid, right? It's his dad is one of the main characters. So, I think the prequel we would have all wanted was like the first Cylon War, but no, Caprica talks about... Oh, let's go for it. Let's see. How dead can I be? That's not too bad. I only lost 2 pips. Anyway, so Caprica was interesting, but I think Caprica would have been a lot better accepted. I think it would have actually been quite popular if it came out first. If they did that one first and then did Battlestar Galactica. Of course, that's not the way it ever would have worked out, right? Because it would have been a lot easier to sell Battlestar Galactica reboot, and then obviously somebody sold them on a Caprica prequel after the reboot was done and they weren't making any more money on it. But that's what it would have been. That would have been the time to do the two. Yeah, Eric Stoltz was in that. I like that. And I think that didn't set up where I wanted it to be. It's off. So trying to get this piece to fit in there is going to be kind of a pain in the butt. Let's see, because I can't. Is that right? It looks. No, that's not right. That's not right. It's out a little bit. So let's see if I can do it from here. Get to fit in. Okay. Anyway, one of the questions I found interesting about Caprica was it was kind of raising some flags about like the origin and the nature and the rights of artificial intelligence, right? Which is, you know, what drives this island. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oops. Why did you guys tell me I messed up? Why did you? Yeah, you might have been screaming at the monitor going, hey, you screwed up. But, and then it was a matter of time before I realized my mistake. In this case, it almost cost me a bruise on my forehead. But, okay. Yeah, I screwed up. I got it. Oh, boy. Anyhow, I just find, you know, AI, when Caprica was dealing with it. Oh, I got to change these railings around too. When Caprica was talking about AI, AI was still kind of a hand wavy, smoke and mirrors, vaporware type concept, and now it's not. Right now it's, you know, actually out there. It's shaping the economy. So, and other stuff. So, I would love to go back and watch it again at this point and just see how it's aged. You know, in some cases, I think it might not age so well. In other cases, maybe aged very well. But trust me, I've looked. I can't find it on any of the streaming services. It's not even last time I looked, it wasn't even available on Amazon, you know, pay through the nose mode. So you need to walk it. I can't do it this way. Take this off. Okay, now let's do it. Let's try to do 10 forward and pull 1 back. So if we do this, okay, that's as far as it goes, but pulling it back, it's hard to see because ten foundations away at this point. I'm very, very close to it on the horizontal plane, so it's hard to tell just looking at it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we take this last one off. We should be lined up, right? So if I look in here, yes, I am lined up. That worked. Okay, I can do that. Four will bring me to the corner. 4 will bring me to the corner here. Okay, now take it all the way out, -2. But I didn't count. I just kind of threw it out there because how 1, 2. There you go. Let's see if I got it right. I think it's good. Yeah, I overshot on that corner. Okay. Let's eyeball it compared to existing structures. I mean, if I got it wrong, at least I would have gotten it wrong consistently. And yeah, that lines up. So there is a bit of method to all this. Kind of keep things working properly. Anyway, hey, if you watched Caprica, whether you liked it or not, please leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of it. And while you're at it, what do you think of the Battlestar Galactica reboot? You know, just this weekend, in fact, my wife and I were talking about it. I mean, we liked it so much. Well, I liked it. I watched it when it first came out, and I've watched it a couple times since then. But my wife watched it cover to cover for the first time last year, and she liked it so much she's talking about rewatching it. So that's got to tell you something, because you know I'm an old science fiction nut. So you know, like Big Bang Theory. It's like, how many times do you watch Star Wars? I don't know. Well, it depends. I mean, which version you're talking about, right? But yeah, I've watched it a couple dozen times at least, right? But and you know, when it comes to Battlestar Galactica and stuff like that, I watch it over and over. My wife is not like that. My wife is not a geek or a nerd by any stretch of the imagination, or by any definition you might come up with. I wouldn't say she's a normal person, but she's not a geek or a nerd, I'll tell you that. So, yeah. They did good. They did well. Let's put it that way. I tried to get her to watch Blade Runner, and we watched the first Blade Runner. That was no problem. She enjoyed that. But then we tried watching the second Blade Runner, and we had all sorts of problems with the playback and everything. And then by the time we were able to try to watch it again, it was the end of the month, and it switched to a service we didn't have a subscription for. And you know, movies anymore, that you know, we got quite a few subscriptions. I really don't like paying specifically for a given movie or series. That's what all the subscriptions are for. But we've had this talk in the past, right? The idea was, I mean, there was the, you know, DVDs and Blu-rays, and that was great. And then and you know, we had Netflix, right? So we were actually physically mailing away discs and getting them back and stuff. But then when streaming started, that was great too, because there's only a few streaming services, and they all fought very hard to have everything. So all you needed was one streaming service, and you were pretty much good to go. But then eventually, you know, the people with the content figured out that they had, you know, a good thing going, and they could really negotiate for pricing, or better yet, you know, in a case like Disney, where they have a huge library, they'll just spin up their own service, right? Take out the middleman. And so now that's kind of where we're at. Like, if you want Disney stuff, well, obviously you got to go to Disney to get almost all of it. Or if it's something like, say, well, just any other movie franchise or something, you know, it bounces around to the highest bidder. Whoever's going to pay them the most, then it's there for a month or two or three, and then it goes off to the next highest bidder or whatever. And it's rough, right? So now, you know, you got to have multiple subscriptions if you want to be able to watch what you want to watch when you want to watch it, which is kind of like ultimately wound up. I hear there's a resurgence of Blu-ray and DVD sales, right? I think it's mostly Blu-ray at this point, but Because, you know, if you want to watch show X and it's not on any streaming service, well, you're kind of hosed. And, you know, those days, I thought those days were over, right? I mean, I grew up in those days. The type of days where, you know, you get your TV guide every week and you would pour through that thing with a highlighter, figure out when your show's going to come on. Oh, Tuesday at 3 a.m. Yeah, I'm going to watch that because, you know, you couldn't record or anything. Yeah, but streaming services seemed, I mean, for a while there, I mean, I was buying a new movie every single paycheck. That was just my thing. And I have a huge library, right? Because I didn't want to be in the situation where if I wanted to watch a movie, I couldn't watch it. But then with streaming services, I got very close to just getting rid of all my videos because it's like, well, you know, I got the streaming services. I'll never need to go watch one of those physical discs again in my life. And now I'm glad that I have those physical discs. In fact, I might resurrect the home media server project. I eventually gave up on it because mostly because I needed the hard drive space for this channel, right? For all the content I generate and I'm working on. So I've taken over the network box, storage box that was for the media server. Oh man, I'm out of concrete again. But now I might get a new network box and, you know, dedicate that one just to the home video. Yeah, that's pretty nerdy geeky. Yeah, I admit it. But, you know, like I said, my wife's not. I am. Card-carrying, full-fledged member of the Geek Squad, so. I mean, I'm playing a game about automation and production. Let's face it. If you're watching it, you're probably a geek too. Right? So that's it, you know, call it like it is. Be proud of who you are. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot better than in the old days. In the old days, geeks and nerds got their butts kicked every 5 minutes and had no lunch money. Yeah. Now geeks and nerds are like fill out most of the ranks of the richest people in the world. So. I still kind of laugh, though, when I see a Facebook meme about Mark Zuckerberg having no personality or being a robot. Poor guy. I mean, I know a lot of really bright people who seem to have no personality because their brain just doesn't work that way, right? They work on a completely different level. If you watch Big Bang Theory, Sheldon Cooper is a perfect example of that, right? But even in that series, he eventually becomes more normal. Of course, it took him, 12 years or 14 years or however long the series ran. So, it happens eventually. But there are definitely people like that, right? Who don't understand emotions, especially emotions in others. They can't read the contextual signs, don't understand sarcasm. Oh boy, I've worked with some of those people. It can be fun though, for a while, because oftentimes they can't figure out that you're laughing at them, right? And then when they do figure it out, oh boy, it's not fun. But I'm gonna need to set up. I'm going to have to set up everything on these, but I don't think I've completed the ones on the row below us. And there's just slugs all over the place out here, aren't there? Oh, I was off by one. There you go. Oh, gosh. You know, sometimes when I play a game like this, or like a game like Minecraft, or basically any of the modern games, any of the games that people are playing nowadays. And I think about it, and it's like, holy moly, what would my life have been like if this game or one of these games was available when I was 10 years old? Right? Because, I mean, here I'm pushing close to 60, and I'm just still totally engrossed with this stuff. So clearly, I'm part of the target demographic. This is my zone. I'm right. This the people who play these games. These are my people. This is, this is all of it. But you see, this stuff wasn't, even remotely available when I was a kid. I remember, I think I was 11 or 12. I think maybe I was 12. I don't remember. It's somewhere around 11 or 12 when we were with my dad for the summer. And he worked at that time, I don't think he worked at Hill Air Force Base, but we were close to Hill. He did work at Hill Air Force Base, civil engineer. But that was the year that the Space Shuttle Enterprise was making a national tour. Now, of course, not by itself. It was strapped to the back of a 747, but it came to Hill Air Force Base. So I got a picture someplace of me standing in front of it. Me and the Starship Enterprise, the real one. But yeah, and that was the same summer that my dad had taken me to work, and one of the other civil engineers, because civil engineers are a geeky crew too. One of those guys, he had I think it was a Commodore VIC-20, right? And his friend that he worked with had brought it to work, so my dad brought me to work that day, and I got to touch a real live computer. And I remember, if I'm 11, this is like 1978, or maybe I was 12, so it was 79. But we're talking about the prehistory of computers for most people. I remember my first computer I bought myself because I wasn't working for Sears, but I was working at Sears for one of their concessionaires. But I still got a Sears discount, and so I used it. And my first computer was a Commodore Plus 4, which had some business applications built into the ROM. And the problem with that was there was 5 games available for it. Don't get me wrong. I love computers. I love what you can do with them. But primarily, the whole reason I got into this digital thing in the first place was to play the games. And the games came on cartridges. And I don't know. I think the Plus 4 did have a floppy disk drive. At that time, it would have been 5 1/4 inch disc. I didn't have the floppy disk drive. I had their proprietary tape drive. Yep, tape. So you and boy, the games I had for it, they were Infocom text adventures, right? The one where it says, you're in a field and there's a house and there's a mailbox, and you type in commands like open mailbox, examine mailbox, take letter, read letter. That was it. And when I went to save the game, you were talking about save game files that are 15 or 20K, and it would go to write on the tape drive, and I could literally get up and go use the bathroom and make a sandwich and come back. And I remember the read operation was about twice as fast as the write operation, right? Because I could do that twice for saving a game, and then do it once for loading a game. But, this idea of save early, save up, you didn't want to do that when you're using a tape drive, man. Spend all day waiting for it to load and save. But that was reality. And what's more too is, it used regular audio cassettes, kinda, because I don't know, because if they were just trying to save money or what, but those tape drives at the time, they weren't very powerful. So they told you right up front, don't use anything longer than a 10-minute cassette tape. Okay, now you tell me, if you remember cassette tapes, how many 10-minute cassette tapes, blank cassette tapes, did you ever see? I mean, everybody wanted 60 minutes or 90 minutes because, they're recording music and they wanted to record a lot of it. They didn't want to have to keep getting up and rewinding or flipping the tape over. And these guys are telling me, just put in 10-minute cassette tapes. Are you nuts? I couldn't even find 10-minute cassette tapes. I mean, you could buy special ones. I think Radio Shack pretty reliably sold them. But, man, that's just crazy. And then when I got my Commodore 128, that was the successor to the Commodore 64, but it had a Commodore 64 built into it, right? So that was the idea. It's like, well, you don't have to give up your Commodore 64. Now you can have all your games or programs, and now you have the new Commodore 128. But the 128 side never took off. I think I had like 2 programs for the Commodore 128, and I had literally hundreds of discs and programs for the Commodore 64 side. So that was fun. Anyway, we didn't get as much done as I was hoping, but we did get a lot done. And you can see here, we still have a little ways to go, but the infrastructure is about 80% of the way complete, right? We've got most of that done. A little bit left to go, but we're getting there. Now, the next episode, I think we'll still be working on infrastructure because we got to run wiring and conveyors. And, then there's the rails and there's the labeling, and the painting and all that jazz. But, I think it's looking pretty good. And it was a very useful episode. And I got to ramble on a little bit. And hopefully that didn't tune a bunch of you out. But if you're still listening to this, thank you. Thank you a lot. And I hope that's a good sign for you coming back for the next episode and watching where we go from here, because this is going to be interesting, trying to figure out how to stack this stuff in a meaningful and efficient way. Got some ideas. I've been working with Excel, prototyping it, so maybe we'll go over that a little bit next time. But in the meanwhile, I hope this finds you and yours in good health, good spirits, and perhaps a touch of good fortune. Cheers.